Well, I appreciate you sharing it with the audience. I love to see the crossover. September 6th, premiere of I'll Be Right There. September 6th, the release of the next season. I'm looking for a Barbie Hammer kind of slogan. So if any of your viewers come up with one, I'm trying to
That's
figure
a
it. I want to do a post like, Barbie and Oppenheimer, complete opposites. I'll be right there. Power, ghost, pretty opposite. I mean, it's all about family. It's all about family.
Your brother is in jail.
What?
Why did it take all three of you to come and get me?
That's what family does.
If they ever strap you to the electric chair, we'll all be sitting right there in the front row when they zap you.
Thank you, Grandma. That's very nice.
Let's do this. Brendan, how you doing today? I'm not Jay Chambers. I'm from Big O Belt Media. Man, I gotta say, finally get a chance to talk to you, my guy. And although we're here to talk about your new film, I'll Be Right There, coming to theaters September 6th. I've been doing nothing but praising you and your work for a very, very long time. So I'm super excited to talk to you today. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Let's get into it. Look at that shirt. That shirt, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I feel like I'm too clean right now.
Nah, you're doing just right, man. Just right. And it's a good time for you, man, because what you have in this film, the one thing I have realized about you is you love family drama. You love conflict, and you tell it in a way that is very relatable. Because we'll talk power in a second, but from a person who watched so much, I know when like situations or family dynamics are like overly inflated. Then I know when I'm like, this is by all means somebody who did the work, who understands what these conversations and how these conversations are navigated, and like just the authenticity of them between the exchange of dialogues, even between like even mannerisms and stuff like that. And again, from the work in Power to now and this, what is sort of like the storyboarding or story mapping in terms of how you navigate putting together complex scenes with characters who are flawed, who have things kind of going on that may not even be shown on whatever the title may be, but like we understand as the viewers, we understand like what the background was before they even got to this point. Like how do you build such complexities with these characters?
You gotta have a. Can I curse on this?
Sure can.
You gotta have a fucking family. That's how you do this. You gotta come in and go. I don't know how many times I've looked at a script and been like, people don't talk that way. What are you talking about? Nobody fucking talks that way. Like they don't wait. I don't wait for you to stop talking. They just talk.
Yeah.
So, and especially when there's a big fight and a big scene, and an editor or a sound mixer, all those people will kill me, and they'll kill me. They always kill me, and I always come in and I go, all right, I know, but you gotta figure it out. In the end, it'll be fine. And everybody comes in and they start like, I said this, do this, then I do, it's like everybody should talk about, and you go to an actor who actors are trained to like not do that. And I'm like, do you wait when you're like in a fight with your family? Do you like wait for them to stop
exactly.
talking? Like, no. I'm like, okay, so fucking don't. They're like, yeah, but what about the sound? Don't worry about them. They'll figure that shit out.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like,
yeah.
We've got all sorts of technologies and stuff. They can, they'll figure it out. Now we got AI. We can AI it out. Whatever. I mean, with this film, I forget what the beginning of your question was, but I think, I mean, I love my family, and I think everybody's got a family that's specific, and no matter how rough we think our family is, that's what we do. We kind of like have to get there for each other. We have to take care of each other. We got to figure it out. It's like when I grew up in the DC, Maryland area, and there would be, snaps, mama jokes, and everybody would be like, so it'd always be like, you can make fun of your like. No one else was like, you can't talk about my bro like that. You can't talk about mama like that. You can't talk like, it's like, you just told me that he was a piece of shit. It's like,
yeah.
That's
hold on. I never knew this. Where are you from? I live in the DMV.
Oh, I was in DC for the first few years, and then I was in Silver Spring.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in Silver Spring. Went to Kennedy High School.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with the area. Okay. Yeah. See, that's why I relate with you. There it is, right there. Yeah, I love my family too, just in case they decide to watch this and feel
Exactly.
like I'm
We both
highlighting
have
how.
to, we both have to drop those. Yeah. I mean, I love them. I love my.
I was like, damn, were you over the crib yesterday? Because man, what a performance up and down the board. And I want to start with Edie with Wanda. I mean, we all share similarities to this character, at least for the good folks in the world, the folks who service so many other folks and things, and at times forget to give themselves grace. And even at times when it's too late, you just decide to it just kind of just erupts emotionally with you. When casting for this here, or eventually whenever Edie landed on your doorsteps for this, with just a phenomenal actor in who she is. How much easier did it make that job for you in terms of building a character that's so complex?
Oh, well, I mean, Edie, I've said 1,000 times today, Edie Falco is just kind of a class act, and
Yeah.
she's really good at her job, and she's no fuss, no muss. Sh we've worked together a bunch, and when we teamed up on this project, it was just kind of like super easy to kind of slip in the pocket and kind of get the right tones down. I mean,
Hmm.
she's a kind of actress that doesn't not need much direction. I always say, you make my life easy. Like,
Yeah.
I remember times when I would shoot a scene with Edie, and I would put, I always tell people, if you have a great actress like Edie Falco, you just put the camera down, you let her do her thing, and then you go, I think this is pretty good. I'd go to her, I'm like, I mean, I've done one takes with Edie, and they're like, that's it. Like, that's it. We should just, do you want to do anything else? She's like, not unless you do. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, then let's go. So no, she's an amazing force.
Yeah. I mean, lightning typically doesn't strike in the same place twice, but then you have Janine Berlin as well too, and it's just like, dude,
Yeah.
having them two on screen together and letting them go for it. There is so many scenes with them that's just over the top good. The one where they pull over on the side of the highway. I mean, man. For you as the director, and I ultimately would assume as the fan of watching these scenes come together, what is it like to have the two of them together?
Oh, I mean, they were such a great combo. They really they're both, Jeannie is quippier, and they're both very dry. So it kind of all play like, no one's the no, it's like two straight, when I say this, it's the comedic term, the straight man. The two, like, straight man comedics, going against each other, and it's just like, you know, and I think that really, it's like doubling down on something that kind of really works.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, one of the best lines that Jeannie improv was, they're in the apartment, they're all fighting and they're all yelling at each other, and then she's like, "What?" Charlie goes, "Why is everybody in my apartment?" She goes, "I was brought here." And that line is not in the script. And I love the writer, and I love Jim Beckerly to say that was in the script, but she was just like, "I was brought here," and I was like, and she does it very like, "I was brought here," like, nothing to it. And she's I remember my first not argument, but my first, like, "I don't know about this, Jeannie, do you want to do the," she was like, "No, I'm dressed." The first scene, she's in a black outfit with red lipstick on, and she goes, I was like, maybe it's something more like this. She was like, "No, I'm dressed for my funeral." I was like, "What?" She was like, this character is going in thinking, Just this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be told that I'm dying, so I'm dressed for the funeral. I was like, okay, let's go.
I don't think I've ever seen an opening of a film where something so heavy be turned so light in a way that was totally acceptable. It's like, well, it wasn't what I thought it was, so I guess I can just get back to smoking. And all the girlfriends like, yeah,
Yeah,
like she still has leukemia though, right?
yeah. Yeah, but like the doctor said, she probably died from something else before that kid takes her.
That was genius work there. There again, I said it to some of your cast earlier. My mistake by only watching this once. There's so much to process in this film, and I'm sure I probably have so many more questions upon watching it again. So I want to ask you, what is the reaction you're hoping for viewers coming out of this film watching it?
I'm hoping that people realize it's good to, that it's okay to not have to be insta famous or, keep up with the Joneses or the Kardashians, and that family is what really kind of matters to people. Like, I think that that's kind of the overall tone of the film, or the overall message of the film is that, in the end, we all have families. I mean, people who don't have any family, there's still somebody that's become a family with them, even friends or family or whatever it is, the little orphan Annie still ends up with a family. Like that it's okay to have relationships with people and to live in like the now, and to just not always pressure yourself to kind of chase something just because the media or the social media or the world is like kind of making us feel like, wait, I'm not on a yacht. Why am I not doing backflips off a yacht?
Yeah.
How many times have you seen someone do a backflip off a yacht? You're like, I want to, why aren't I on a yacht? It's like,
Yeah.
think about it. That person doesn't even own that yacht. Don't worry about it.
Yep. Yep. Man, they don't want to hear that message, man. But that's the hard truth right there.
Yeah, you can look back at my Instagram. There's probably me backflipping off of a yacht. It wasn't my yacht.
I mean, we've all hit those GQ poses in front of somebody's car before,
Yeah.
All right, let me take a moment to talk a little bit about Power. Power just recently celebrated their 10-year anniversary now, and with you being a pivotal part in two of their flagship shows, which we'll talk about the second one second, the one that's coming back in a minute, shall I say? What has this franchise meant to you, and what is the universe and the fandom and all of that has been for you?
I mean, the Power universe has been like, it's been a huge kind of, the last 4 years have been just kind of a roller coaster of, people love it. I mean, those fans, like the Power fans, are like, they're adamant fans, and they catch stuff and they're like ahead of the story. They're like, oh, this is what's happening. Like, oh, that person's gonna die. Like, oh shit. And Courtney Kemp was such a, she's become a friend, and she's so amazing, and she's, so smart. And she kind of gave me a shot directing one of those, and, not knowing. And there was another director or producer, Shanna Stein, who kind of was like, no, he should do one. And Courtney even said, she was like, just so you know, she said you should do one. And then I did it, and she was like, all right, this works. This looks good. And she was like, so, it's been great. And then Brett Mahoney, who I've been working with closely for the last few years on Ghost, it's been great. The Cantons, 50 Cent, like everybody, like it's just a very kind of, it's just another family, and that's, to me, I'm like, oh, everything's about family. It's like what they say about Fast and the Furious.
I was just about to say.
Family.
Oh boy, that's hilarious. And yeah, you brought us in with episode 1 of this final season, season 4, and then because the second part is coming back in the 6th, I see you cooking up for episode 9 as well too, which we already know. If we've been watching Power long enough, know that these episodes 9s are never the one to play with. That is always where it goes down, whether it's somebody exiting, blood being spread, something craziness that's going to
You're not
happen
gonna
in that.
get anything out of me,
Oh,
man.
I'm not. No, that's not the game I'm playing. But I was going to ask you if you could use some descriptives about that episode. What might you say?
I would say, that, I was a director producer of that last year, and I was supposed to do 1 and 10. And that 9 is so big.
Talk to him.
I said, maybe I should do 9.
Talk to him.
Not that 10, not that, I mean, the director does 10, and there is fabulous director and way better director than me. She'll see. But there's some real big stuff happening in 9, and it is definitely, I mean, there's some great music shit that happens in 9. There's like a track that Big Tank, the supervisor over there, was like, I want to have a watch party with this movie, with this episode. Like, we're gonna, there's no such thing right now as like a premiere or a finale party, but nine's going to be one that all the fans are going to either DM me to go, fuck myself and jump off a bridge. So, we'll see.
You know what's funny about your humor? It very mirrors Michael Rappaport. How did that come about, having him a part of this film?
Michael Rappaport, I forget, actually him and Edie had a relationship. I mean, when we were casting, I was like, Mike Rappaport would be perfect. I think he's just a really great actor, and I do think it's funny. I think I respond to new, East Coasters and people who, feel a little real, and even the couple of LA actors that came in for this film, like even they felt real. Like Bradley Whitford, I'm like, feels real. Michael Beach,
That's my guy.
real dude.
Yeah.
Like he showed up and we're all like, all right, cool. Like these are real people. So yeah, I mean, him and I are trying to do another project after this, and I've been a big fan of his, but
Dope. Oh, I look forward to that then. And then I definitely want to give you kudos about how inclusive this movie is. With us having a queer relationship, but and I've been really shuffling with this word, but for the lack of better words, like we see so many different dynamics as flawed because Hollywood or even society like to label things to kind of be pretty linear in terms of what families look like, what are conversations like, all these sorts of different things. And I mean, when you talk about the character Mark and what he's going through, Sarah, who's at a very pivotal point in her life as well too, and then Wanda just trying to find herself, but can't even make time for herself, and she's exploring a different relationship, and even that relationship, regardless of the sexuality around it, it's very much things that people relate to, like, oh, you're ashamed of me, or like, hey, come with me. Like all these sorts of conversations are happening in this film. I wanted to ask you again, with ensuring everybody and everything it's seen in this film. I know your work, so I know you didn't check boxes, and I know your mission statement behind what you do. So I know this is a given at every given time. But for folks who may just be being familiar with you for the first time, talk about how that process works for you, and then why it's important for us to have more of it.
So, yeah, I hate the checking boxes of a lot of things. I would say I would fight it at most times. I've just lived a life where I have been, I have walked the world with many different people, race, religion, sexuality. Like I have just continued to walk the world that way with those people. And, again, I'm not a politician. I don't even I don't talk about politics. I don't worry about all these other things. I just say to myself, these are people, I believe in humanity and I believe in people.
Yeah.
I believe that what we put out there is kind of what we get. And, uh, I was raised religious, Catholic. But my father was an immigrant from Ireland. I grew up in this predominantly, Black and Hispanic neighborhood.
Yep.
My uncle is, homosexual. I just live that life. That's just to me, that's how life works. And I think it's how, for me, when it comes to a project or something, it's just about putting it out there so it doesn't feel preachy or like I'm saying something like accept this or like do this or like, don't let these people in or like let them all in, just let everybody just taste it a little bit. Like it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's cool. We're all cool. We're all just gonna figure it out. Like it's cool.
Yeah.
That's just that's just how my kids are, Latin and it's just I just feel like we got to keep melting in the world, and that's how it'll work.
I will say, and that's why I want to give you the opportunity to say that and give you your kudos for your work and everything that you've done, especially with this project, because this is definitely a game changer of a project. I understand how at times it could be difficult to have to speak to that because much like yourself, what your experience in life, how you grew up was a norm to me. Like, we had folks in my family who were homosexual. It wasn't like a thing. And I was raised by women. It was like, yes, I knew women have been strong my entire life. I've seen it, a testimony to it. You know what I mean? I've had all different sorts of different types of friends with different types of background. And the fact that it's so norm to us, it's like you're fighting a fight that you didn't even know you were even in because it's so important that we see more and more of it. And so when you ask the buy, it's kind of like, I don't feel like I need to be on the stage or anything to talk about it. It's like, this is just what it should be. It's just very normal.
Don't make it a thing. People look at me and they're like, oh, really? And they're like, you grew up? And I was like, oh, yeah, I was the white guy on the basketball team. They're like, really? You play basketball? I was like, yeah. And I was like, I got 40 pairs of Jordans. Like, what do you want? Wait, I don't know what to tell you. Yes. I'm a white dude in a polo and I'm wearing Jordans. I don't know what to tell you. That's just life.
Brendan, my God, thank you so much for your time today. It's been something on my highly regarded list to be able to get a chance to talk to you about it for all you've done in terms of the Power Universe, but definitely with this project and so many other projects I could talk about as well too. But this one right here was definitely a game changer, and I cannot wait for the world to check it out because I'll be right there. Comes to theater September 6th. Congratulations, much more success, and maybe we'll be talking around episode 9 of season 4.
All right, there you go. Well, I appreciate you sharing it with the audience. I love to see the crossover. September 6th, premiere of I'll Be Right There. September 6th, the release of the next season. I'm looking for a Barbie Hammer kind of slogan. So if any of your viewers come up with one, I'm trying to figure. I want to do a post like, Barbie and Oppenheimer, complete opposites. I'll Be Right There, Power, Ghost, pretty opposite. I mean, it's all about family. It's all about family.
Throw the F right in there too for Dom. Dom Terrell. God damn, I didn't realize that. What a big day for you coming up, my guy. Man. But truly, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Have a good one.